Well, good day, all. Welcome to Alchemy Within from Out Amongst the Stars. And we're here again today to chat about the solstice, the December 21st, 2023 solstice Capricorn energy that is with us in the Northern Hemisphere as winter solstice, meaning that we have the shortest day of the year. But I have to honor the Southern Hemisphere because that is where my daughter is visiting her other half of the family, and that's for them the longest day of the year, and it's summer solstice there, winter solstice for us in the Northern Hemisphere. So, and what does that mean? Um, there's a whole bunch of history with that, but essentially, it is a time for honoring the dark and the light, which we all have. Those aspects within us. We all have our shadows, and we also have our light of our sun that gives us the the energy to be what we want to be in this world and do what we want to do. And as we get there, going through the human experience, it really is about working through all of those different kinds of shadows. So what this particular time is really, really good for is going within and trying to really honor what it is that your heart and soul are calling you to, and that bigger picture, and set that intention. So often people do it, for New Year's, but really, this is a really great time to set that intention for the following year as we move into now more light in the Northern Hemisphere, and move into more light of the day and bring back our energy from the sun. um, Speaking of energy from the sun, we're getting so much energy from the sun, way more than we have in previous years, with a lot of solar flares. So you can go look into that as well. We had actually, which we can talk a little bit about, our new moon, which was totally in the dark of Sagittarius on December 12th. So here on the chart, I put this chart for December 21st to honor this time of solstice. We see the sun is at 29 degrees. It will be moving into Capricorn, and it will then connect with Mercury, which is in retrograde. So that's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a really interesting energy that we're going to all experience, with the heart of the sun and Mercury going through it. And then it comes out the other side of that, still in retrograde, but it is a purification of things, and it brings about the different energies of this Mercury retrograde. And this Mercury retrograde actually is interesting all in itself, because it's kind of, you know between two different, completely different signs of the zodiac, which is our Sagittarius and our Capricorn. And it went, station direct on December 13th. It went into Capricorn energy on December 1st, but then a station direct in that Capricorn on December 13th. And previously it had been, of course, in the Sag, and as of tomorrow, it will be moving back into that Sag energy. That new moon was also a really interesting time as well, because it was, I put this new moon, basically the date right around the 12th into 13th, to show that the moon and the sun were together. It was squaring Neptune. So part of the reason why I had delayed that, even talking about this, was that was sitting right on my midheaven, and the square to Neptune just felt like really fuzzy, and I wasn't sure what kind of clarity would come out. So we can talk a little bit, though, about that new moon in Sagittarius. And of course, that new moon is a time for seeding of new beginnings as well. It's when we are clearing out some of the old, which we did with the full moon, and we want to bring in a new fresh start, and a whole bunch of new intentions for that month and lunar cycle ahead. You know, the sun, of course, comes together with the moon, the sun being our identity, our ego, you know, our heart, our vital life force, our conscious awareness, our soul's purpose, and what lights us up and gives us that energy to move forward with all of our personal passions and talents and ambitions, and you know, kind of what we were basically born to bring to this earth and this life, and it's part of our journey. We have the moon that brings a more subjective energy that's in combination when we have a new moon, and it's that emotional part of us and our mood and our feelings and our basically our day-to-day inner and the subconscious habitual patterns that we're in, and how we deal with our emotional needs and what brings us a sense of feeling safe, and you know, often is connected to the mother. And you know, we have this as part of our uh, big three when we are born, that really play a real significant role in our life, with the sun and the moon, and then of course our ascendant, which is the rising sign. And in this particular chart, for where I put the location at, is showing a Leo rising. So if you pull up your chart, you would look where this ascendant is. That's our rising, that would be your rising sign. And that plays a really significant role too with your soul purpose. And something I really like to look at, because I feel like it often shows how we were in our younger years and how we were perceived as a child, and then how we perceive the world. And I feel like I didn't realize that as much about myself until later now in life, and understanding my own chart, and then seeing how I was expressing that a lot as in my youth. And then I kind of went, you know, more into that ego expression of the sun sign, and then have now kind of taken it on as um, part of my soul calling, and really finding myself in the energies, as I have a gem sun, Aquarius rising. Of course, that has to do with the astrology, and a Sagittarius moon. So as I mentioned, it was this new moon that we had was sitting right on my midheaven too, and had passed by my moon. But in talking about the general energies, we were with that Sagittarius energy. We had that Mercury in Sag, and it will be, as you see, at 1 degree here on the 21st of December. It will actually be going back into Sagittarius tomorrow, right after this solstice day, as it goes through the heart of the sun and gets purified, and the sun will be moving into then the Capricorn energy. So talking about the differences of these two energies of and archetypes, from an archetypal perspective, that Sag is all about adventure and, you know, our morals and values, and exploration of that, and exploration of truth. Like if you hear people talk about Sag, they talk about the truth and religion and our different dogmas, or you know, different philosophies, and also has a lot to do with adventure and travel. But it allows you to have that bigger perspective, that 30,000-foot view. And then we have the Capricorn energy, which is more that it's the sea goat. It's the one who wants mastery and the best, and always has the to-do list, and everybody has to kind of, you know, stay in that, let's make sure we're achieving what we need to achieve, checking off the list, climbing that mountain to success. And often they are the people who are really you know, the CEOs of the company, the president. And it also expresses the energy of of structure. It's ruled by Saturn. And uh, we will be talking lots more about that, because we've had Pluto in Aquarius, or Pluto in Capricorn moving into Aquarius. It dipped in earlier this year for a little bit, and it will be moving into there in January. And so we are seeing all the structures of Capricorn get shifted and changed and transformed, as the Pluto will be moving through this Aquarius for 20 years. It'll dip back into Capricorn very briefly for about 40 days next fall, but we are really starting to see the effects of, the independence and grassroots up rather than top down and hierarchy, and the people wanting to live in community and what's best for all, and more of that circular leadership as opposed to a hierarchy, and all kinds of different shifts in technology, and that will be coming. So getting back to our day of the solstice, actually, it's just wild because we've had the El Nino that people are aware of. I can't believe on the 21st of December in the northern parts of the world here, I'm sitting on the grass outside with the birds. It's amazing. I'm just like, wow, so great. So we will now experience this Sag energy again from the Mercury perspective, even though we're going in retrograde, and we are going over a lot of the degrees that we had already been through when we started this at that 22 degree mark. It dipped all the way into 8 degrees of Capricorn. Now it's retrograding back, and it'll go back to that 22 degrees, and then it'll go for the third and final pass over. So what has been happening at each of those degrees as we've been through that Mercury retrograde for you to do the revise and revisit and rewrite and redo and renew, and all of our revisiting and ways of just reevaluating exactly what we really want. And we've had a lot of energy that's really asked us to look at the big picture. And as a Sag, Mercury review happens with that Mars energy, which was there, which has been, bringing in a lot more fire to the whole big picture of what everybody wants. We're going to have an opportunity to look at, from that 30,000-foot view, the observer. What is it that you want to do in your day-to-day life? Because we are going to see all our planets move forward in 2024 here after we get through this retrograde, which will be done on, wildly enough, New Year's Day, on January 1st, 2024. And then we will be in, just that little shadow period. And by the 20th of January, we're moving like and shaking full speed ahead with many, many planets in that forward motion. And so we will be really seeing and feeling that ramp up. And we will also be feeling that whole shift start to happen. And it's not going to feel the same at all as what we've had we've had a lot of chance to really, be with our own little groups, and we've been locked down, and we've then had to go back and then try to reintegrate into the world and realize what we really value. And now is the time with this, Pluto especially going into Aquarius, to decide exactly what it is that you want in your big picture, and write it down, and allow yourself some time on this solstice day to really share, in written, or verbal, out to the universe, exactly what you want. Like, as above, so below. Let's bring it in. Everything first starts with our thoughts and our beliefs and our emotions and our patterns and all of those kinds of things. So I'm really excited about what's coming in this new year. And I have, just a few more days of, I offered a really affordable special for anybody who wants to look at their chart, like some of these different transits and kind of where it's landing for them. And you can, just for a small donation, spend 40 minutes with me, or you can spend more. I'll put the details below. Another thing about this, actually, this solstice, before we conclude here, is that it's actually in a really nice trine to Jupiter. And Jupiter is still retrograde. It will be coming out of retrograde here near the end of the year, as well as Chiron. Then Uranus will be in January, late January. But when the sun ingresses here into Capricorn and at our solstice time, we have this really nice trine with Jupiter. And that brings expansion. That Jupiter energy is one considered as a benefic. It, whatever it touches, expands. So of course, we want that to be in a positive way, of course. And on top of it, Jupiter actually is the ruler of Sagittarius, and it is all about our beliefs and our faith and our a spiritual teaching and travel and adventure as well. And then we also have a nice sextile to Saturn. And Saturn is our borders and boundaries and brings things kind of into reality, but in a sextile, with that being a harmonious aspect, that'll bring us into some realities that might be just having like things in a nice structure, like anything in our Pisces house. We've been in a lot of Neptune energy, which is very connected to Pisces, but it's also in Pisces, and that Saturn can bring some nice structure to those things that we imagine or we've had in our ideals. And we've maybe had a reality check over here about certain things, and now we can get it into a nice flow, because that's this type of aspect brings, is a nice flow. So yeah, there's lots to explore here as we enter into our new energies going into 2024. There's a lot of light coming back in, starting very slowly after the solstice period in the northern hemisphere. And we will then be carried on into a full moon in Cancer, which we will discuss later, because that will be on the 26th of December. And that'll bring in a whole bunch of the Cancer themes of home and family, and in opposition to that Capricorn. So that should, hopefully bring about some nice Christmas time for people, but there is always that opposition there too. So in the meantime, let's enjoy this nice trine to Jupiter, our sextile to Saturn, and our Mercury getting purified in the heart of the sun. And we will then be able to move forward as of the new year in a whole new direction with a new perspective. And until then, we may have a few more meetings over the holiday week and holiday seasons here, and talk about a few other things. But if you really need that help, as I mentioned before, please take advantage of this special until the end of the year. The details will be below, and the minimum donation is 22 US, but with that you get a half an hour to 40 minutes of time, and we can really cover a lot of ground with your own chart. And I'm really looking forward to supporting you. And if you need even just to talk anything out, as mentioned before, I know I'm completely enjoying this solstice, as I've spent a lot of time outside in the grass, even bare feet, with birds in the northern hemisphere. I think it was minus 27 last year this time in Celsius, and here we are enjoying these very, very above average warm seasonal temperatures. And so I know for my energy and uplifting emotion, it's definitely been helpful. But I understand that this can be a very challenging time at times for people, or there's just a lot of crazy energies going on right now that people need support with. So I'm here to work through that as an emotional empowerment coach, as well as all of my addiction, probably you would call it, my learnings through the astrology. And also, there's another part of my work that I do with the energy scanner, which is really cool too. So we could even have a look at that. So, yeah, until then, until next time, have a wonderful time with family if you're spending time with family. And if you need anybody to just talk things out with, I am here um, through the holidays. Much love to you all, and we will chat with you soon. Bye for now.